Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. In today's video we'll take a comprehensive look at Canada's evolving trade landscape, particularly how recent tensions with the United States have led to new opportunities and strategic partnerships around the globe. From Europe to Asia, we'll explore the factors behind Canada's push to diversify its exports, the progress made under key agreements like CETA, and how remarks by President Donald Trump have catalyzed Canada's renewed emphasis on international collaboration. So let's dive right in. For decades, Canada's economy has been tightly interwoven with its neighbor to the south. Roughly 75% of Canadian exports have traditionally gone to the United States, thanks in large part to proximity and long-standing agreements like NAFTA, which later evolved into the USMCA. This close relationship ensured that American markets were readily accessible, allowing Canadian businesses to flourish under stable and predictable trade conditions. However, this heavy reliance on the U.S. also presented inherent vulnerabilities. Whenever tensions rose, be it through political disagreements or disputes over tariffs, Canada's economy felt the impact deeply. As we'll see, recent events have shown that diversification isn't just a buzzword for Canada anymore, it's a strategic imperative. One particularly surprising development came at the tail end of 2024 when President-elect Donald Trump casually suggested that Canada become the 51st state of the United States. This unexpected proposal was initially brushed off as a joke, but he repeated it on several occasions, both online and in public addresses. Trump argued that annexation would lower taxes for Canadians, offer more military protection, and potentially unify the two economies under a single regulatory system. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau swiftly rejected the notion, emphasizing Canada's sovereignty and identity. While the idea was never taken seriously by the Canadian government or general public, the repeated mention of annexation raised eyebrows. It also cast a spotlight on just how important Canada's natural resources and exports are to the United States, and underlined the need for Canada to better shield itself from potential economic coercion. President Trump's rhetoric soon escalated beyond mere suggestions of annexation. In early 2025, he threatened to impose a 25% tariff on all Canadian goods, citing issues like border security. He questioned why the U.S. should financially support Canada, while also claiming it would be more efficient if Canada were absorbed as an American state. In retaliation, Canada announced its own 25% tariffs on U.S. imports worth approximately $155 billion. With significant economic ties at stake, both governments soon realized that a tit-for-tat tariff war would hurt businesses and consumers in both countries. By the end of January 2025, they agreed to a temporary 30-day pause on enforcing these tariffs, hoping to find a resolution. Why does the U.S. continue to push so hard on Canadian trade policies? A big piece of the puzzle lies in Canada's rich natural resources. Canada is the world's fourth largest producer of crude oil, with Alberta's oil sands supplying around 87% of these exports. About 97% of that oil goes directly to the U.S., making Canada a crucial player in fueling American industries and households. Beyond oil, Canada is also a top producer of natural gas, nickel, aluminum, gold, uranium, hydroelectric power, potash, and even diamonds. Each of these commodities feeds into critical sectors of the U.S. economy, from automotive manufacturing to technology and beyond. For the United States, maintaining steady access to Canadian resources has long been a priority, and that largely explains why U.S. leaders often leverage tariffs or political pressure to secure favorable terms. Given these complexities, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Canada's Trade Minister Mary Ng have championed a more assertive approach to global engagement. One of the cornerstones of this strategy is the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, or CETA, with the European Union. Since 2017, when CETA was provisionally applied, it has eliminated nearly 98% of tariffs between Canada and the EU. This has led to a surge in trade. Two-way merchandise exchange soared to $100 billion in 2021, marking a 33.7% increase from 2016. The benefits of CETA are more than just numerical. By reducing tariffs and easing market access barriers, CETA enables Canadian businesses, especially small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, to engage with new customers across the EU's 27 member states. Moreover, Canada and the EU are working on initiatives such as investment dispute resolution frameworks, and the mutual recognition of professional qualifications for architects. These measures are designed to streamline cross-border business, making it easier for Canadian professionals and smaller companies to tap into Europe's large consumer base. Despite these positive trends, there's still a lot of room for growth. Statistics show that in 2020, only 7% of eligible Canadian exporters fully utilized the preferential tariff rates offered under CETA. Canada's government is well aware of this gap and is ramping up outreach to educate exporters on how to leverage the agreement's advantages. Another important aspect of Canada's diversification push lies in technology and sustainable resources. During a recent summit in Paris on artificial intelligence, Prime Minister Trudeau met with other world leaders to discuss responsible AI development. Canada is positioning itself not just as a resource-based economy, but as a modern hub for innovation, especially when it comes to AI ethics and research. On the resource side, Canada's strategy focuses heavily on critical minerals essential for green technologies, like electric vehicles, batteries, wind turbines, and solar panels. These minerals, ranging from lithium and nickel to cobalt, are vital for transitioning to a low-carbon economy. Recognizing the strategic value of these resources, Canada has laid out its critical minerals strategy, backed by around $4 billion from the federal budget. The plan promotes sustainable mining practices that respect environmental, social, and governance standards, while also involving Indigenous communities to ensure revenue sharing, job creation, and skills training. Partnering with the European Union on critical minerals has become a key component of Canada's diversification plan. Through the strategic partnership on raw materials, both sides aim to strengthen supply chains, encourage joint research and development, and reduce their reliance on countries with less stringent ESG practices. With Europe eager to shift to cleaner energy, Canada's responsibly sourced minerals are an attractive proposition. Canada's pivot goes well beyond the European Union. Through the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, Canada is expanding trade relationships in the Indo-Pacific region, including nations like Japan, Vietnam, and Australia. This is in line with an ambitious target set in 2018 to increase non-US exports by 50% by 2025. Recent developments suggest Canada is on track to meet or even surpass this goal. Additionally, Canada is exploring agreements with Indonesia, Ecuador, and other fast-growing economies in Southeast Asia. By adding more markets to its roster, Canada hopes to reduce the vulnerability that comes with having one dominant trade partner. This approach ensures that if one region experiences economic headwinds or levies unexpected tariffs, Canadian exporters can pivot to alternative destinations more readily. A less publicized but equally critical part of Canada's diversification strategy involves dismantling trade barriers within its own borders. Internal trade barriers, such as differing provincial regulations, can make it cumbersome for Canadian businesses to scale up domestically before venturing into international markets. To address this, federal, provincial, and territorial leaders are working on measures that streamline regulations across provinces, opening up a more unified domestic market. Such reforms help small businesses reduce red tape, lower transportation costs, and standardize product requirements nationwide. This can then serve as a springboard for successful export strategies, giving Canadian firms a stronger competitive edge when venturing abroad. The rise in trade diversification among U.S. allies, especially Canada, has already begun to reshape global trade networks. Countries once heavily reliant on the American market are forging new alliances to mitigate the risks of shifting U.S. policies. Over time, this trend could erode the United States' leverage, as allies develop long-term contracts and deep connections elsewhere. For the U.S., such a shift might mean a diminished share in global trade, and less influence over partners who have developed viable alternatives. American consumers could also face higher prices if tariffs remain a consistent tactic, as companies pass these increased costs on to end users. In essence, unilateral tariff policies and political unpredictability appear to be driving former U.S.-centric economies to invest in more diversified, resilient trade routes. Canada's journey to reshape its trade landscape underlines a crucial reality of today's global economy. Dependence on a single partner, even a close ally, can become a significant risk when political winds change. Although Canada continues to value its long-standing ties with the United States, new pacts with the European Union, Asia-Pacific countries, and potential partners in Southeast Asia demonstrate a determined push for resilience. From critical minerals to AI innovation, from eliminating internal barriers to forging new trade agreements, Canada's diversified approach aims to secure a stable economic future. While tensions with the United States might continue to flare, Canada is actively safeguarding its sovereignty and long-term prosperity. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you found this exploration of Canada's trade diversification insightful, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. We'd love to hear your thoughts on how these changes might affect North American and global economies, so be sure to leave your comments below. Until next time, stay informed and keep exploring the world of global trade. Thanks for watching.